this is coming off. But yeah, I literally just got home from. Oh god, I'm unprepared because, like I said, I just got home from RuPaul's Drag Con. And I'll play that song. Um, such a nice program, such a nice looking program. But yeah, just got home from it. Yeah, I got my pass, and it's like, woo, good fucking pass. Oh god. I didn't realize how tired I was until I got on the train, and I was like, you know. Um, but yeah, so this is my lovely prosthetic that is falling off right now, and I'm gonna, take it off while I'm talking about DragCon. So, one, I'm very glad that they brought DragCon to New York because, I definitely, obviously wanted to go to DragCon. And I also was like, oh man, like, I could only afford to go to, like, California at least once a year. And sorry, Monsterpalooza is obviously the important convention for me. This is more fun. That aside, when they announced that they were going to do it for New York, I was like, fuck yeah, finally. And, like, the New York drag scene is, like, it's so much more, so much. It's New York. So I was like, we need the drag con. So, yeah. This kind of thing was just kind of like, last minute, because obviously I'm currently working on stuff for Comic-Con, which, funny enough, in a month, I'll be back in the Javits for Comic-Con. Anyway, so this was last minute. I was just going to do, like, pretty much all the makeup you see here, but just minus this. Just do like, oh yeah, just like a kind of beard kind of thing and pretty makeup, the mermaid look thing, the bearded mermaid look that I usually go for. With oddly enough, that's my drag aesthetic. With my shirt that I bought at Old Navy. Oh, these are my business cards. I'm like, oh, my boobs, look how flat I am. Look at that. And that's like I have pecs. Oh, can't wait to take the girls back out. But anyway, so, I was gonna do that, and then last minute I was like, wait, this is DragCon. Like, I was like, oh, it's not like IMATS, or I'm just like, okay. I was like, I need to kind of go a little bit bigger, So, I was like, oh man, I've been wanting to do like this kind of prosthetic for the longest time, so fuck it. I did. I started sculpting and all that stuff. I know I had like some amount of silicone left from, Monsterpalooza from when I did the They Live thing. I was like, there has to be some left. So I pretty much used like the last of the last. So I used the last bit of silicone I had left to do this. I used the last bit of like Ultra Cal and all that shit I had left to cast this stuff to to make the mold and all that BS. It was just like, okay, if this doesn't work, then fuck it, I'll just paint instead of doing a prosthetic. Obviously this came out, blah blah blah. Stop it. So this was last minute, and again, I knew I was tired, but I didn't realize just how tired I was, because within this last week, it was me, like, pouring the silicone, getting this all done, painting, like, pre-painting it, and then I had, well, it's in my, oh, actually it's here. I made, like, these kind of, like, web, like, thingies, like, for webbing, for my hands, for the look and all that stuff, because, again, mermaid. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna stick that in there. Oh, I feel so much better. I was like ripping my upper lip the whole time. Oh god, oh that's a strong scent. Alright, smells like Fruit Loops. But anyway, so yeah, I got up really early to put this on because, I was traveling straight from home to the convention, to the Javits Center, and I was like nervous, like, oh god, I have to like put this makeup on, like the convention center is not just down the block kind of stuff. I have to get on like the train and all that shit. And what I did was one of those like surgical mask thingies that I make and sell on my Etsy, link down below, kind of thing. I wore that over, like the press all over this just so I looked less weird. So I just looked like some weird green-headed person, like with this surgical mask and all this stuff. Like, okay, well, fine, they're Asian, like, the Asians do that, so whatever. Oh my god, this feels so much better. I can move my face. So when I got there, I was waiting for Paul and then like one of my buddies from work. And I was like, where the fuck is everyone? Then I was like, alright, you know what? Because I said I wanted all of us to meet at 11. It was starting to get a little bit past that time. I was like, alright, I'm gonna go to the Javits. I'll pick up our tickets because the way how they do it is like you print out the kind of like you print out the thing. You print out like your little barcode stuff, and you go there, and then they're supposed to give you like the passes, this thing. So, whatchamacallit. So I was like, alright, let me go, let me just at least get my pass, and I'll just wait for you guys. I get all the way to the fucking Javits, and the line is so long, it's like fucking Comic-Con level. Oh, I feel so much better. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Being able just to do that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway. The line was like I said, Comic-Con level of like long, like we were down 34th and around like on 12th Ave and all that shit. And I was just like, oh my god, like this is insane, like, but the line moved pretty quickly, moved pretty well. And I was just like really worried because I'm like, oh my god, this line is so long, and like by the time we get in, and like, by the time we get in, like, oh my god, it's gonna be like 3 or something. Like, we're not gonna see anything, and whatever we want is gonna get sold out, like all that shit. But wow, the line moved pretty quickly. By the time my colleague, like, he met up with me, I was already like heading back up to 11th Ave. And it's like you go in, all that stuff. Then we had to go downstairs to like this registration section, which was like this weird. They kind of fucked it up by like, like fine, you have the down escalator, and then you want everyone to go over here to do the registration stuff. But then it gets kind of fucked up because you get down, you go to registration, then you have to cross streams. Then you have to go over and go past the people that are going down to go into this new line of corralled people because of obviously like safety hazard. Like if everyone just went in at once, it would just be like really, 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 really gross and hazardous, So, yeah, so because of that, the bright side is, once we got our badges and all that stuff, there was enough time once we got into that little corralled spot for Paul to like catch up to us. And I was just like, dude, I don't know if you can like just walk in and just kind of get down to the thingy. I was just saying to him, like, I don't know, just get to us. If not, just be like right by the show floor, and then we could just meet up and walk in together. I don't know. But he was able to meet up with us, like, just as we're about to, like, head up the escalator, back up the escalator, which was cool, because I was like a wreck, and I had, like, this fucking thing on my face. Like, oh, God. I'm surprised my face isn't, like, dripping, because I had it applied, right? And it's applied, it's there. I started to, like, do some touch-ups, some paints, some blah, blah, I'm painting it. And all of a sudden my nose started running. And I was like, fuck. Oh my god. I also forgot because I was so like, oh, gotta get up, gotta put this on. I forgot to take my allergy medication. And so what I ended up having to do, and like the nose slits, come on, don't focus on my face, focus on this. The nose slits are pretty small, and I really need to get better at making nose holes for myself, so I'm not breathing like that. Like breathe through the nose, but like like trying to breathe, and then you're like just a fucking mouth breather. Anyway, the nose slits aren't that big, so I had to I took like a freaking whatchamacallit, Q-tip, and would like stick it in and then like go around, pop it out. That kind of stuff. Oh, so gross. But, it worked. Anyway. Get all this stuff on. Get all these colors. All these. See, these colors don't run. Well, this is this is Skin Illustrator. This is Premiere Products here. This is Sugar Pill. Obviously. Obviously this stuff on here is Premiere Products. Yay, me. Oh, I'm gonna change earrings too, because I'm not used to ones that dangle, and I'm like, it keeps touching my face. Anyway, so we got in, and it's exactly what you expect it to be. It's full of people, lines all over the place, like people dressed up. It was tons of fun. It really was. Obviously, it's just so weird whenever whenever I go to the Javits and it doesn't involve New York Comic Con, and so I go there and it's something obviously nowhere near the large caliber of it, and it's like, oh, we're just in this little section, we're just over here, that's it. You know, they could expand it just a little, but like at the same time, it's like DragCon was happening, then like the rug show was happening. That was just weird. Like, alright. And then there was like the LGBT Expo, which was like off all the way on the other side. Yeah, it was just kind of like weird, like, wow, three things are happening at once. Because I think the last time I went, and it was something like that. It wasn't IMATS, it was some other like beauty show, like, it was more about, I think, skincare than makeup or whatever. Um, so it was like some skincare thing here, some beauty thing over on this side, and then like all the way over there was like some kind of like doctor convention or something. So you have all these people who are like, you know, rolling around like big makeup cases and like hair pieces and all the skincare products. Then you got people in like lab coats. It was just kind of funny. But anyway, so, you know, this is the first year. Obviously, there'll be like, there's obviously gonna be a next year, because just that line alone, like just the, you know, the turnout, which is crazy. Like, I overheard someone in line say, like, you know, how crowded it got. And again, it's crowded, but it's nowhere near like fucking comic conventions. Just comic conventions in general kind of crowded. But anyway, they were like, yeah, I feel like they might like cap off the ticket sales because of, you know, how this was. And it was like getting everyone in and getting all that stuff. That was pretty well organized, and no one like cut in line, which was very nice of everyone. Because comic conventions, I don't give a fuck. Some of those, oh god, if it's an anime convention, I don't even want to go there. And also, I think like when the following years, when they do this, that it'll be, well, like a lot more well organized, like the show floor itself, because of course there's a lot of queens and so many people want to see all of them, and it's just like all of them are popular, obviously some more than others. And it's just like, you have the booth, and then there's just like lines coming out of everywhere, because some of them have like their booths right next to each other. So there's like lines and lines of people. So you'd go into like an aisle, and you're just like, okay, no one's moving. And then you're trying to move through, and you're like you're not trying to hit anyone, but you're like, oh god. Because it's like, people are standing there, either they're looking at stuff, or they're in line to see a queen, or, you know, like all this stuff. So it's like, it's like at times it just, stuff would like get stopped like completely. But other than that, like, you know, we walked around the place about like a good 4 or 5 times. Like, we pretty much saw everything, like, you know, first round, just because, again, I was like telling Paul, I was like, wow, we can like take our time and like take a stroll. You know, it's not like other conventions, especially because we went one day. It's like other conventions where it's like, we gotta look at, like, let's just run through everything now. It gets kind of hectic. Oh my god, the fucking, it was so dramatic. The fucking Jeffree Star like booth had like a fucking like velvet rope, and like dudes with like the headsets, and like he got his own Secret Service shit going on. I was like, honey, you know, you're not as important as your Instagram makes you feel. You know what I mean? Like, I got it. You're a pretty big name and all that stuff, but honey, this is RuPaul's DragCon. Just saying, you know. I was just like, Jesus Christ. Of course, I definitely wanted to see a lot of queens, but I really wasn't there to see them. But like, really, the lines were just so crazy. I couldn't see myself being in line that long. Like, the only line besides the line to get in that I was in was for Sugar Pill, because I gotta get my shit, and I love Sugar Pill, and I'm so glad they were there. It was very smart of them to be there, because I like that they also sold things, you know, obviously at show price, so, you know, it wasn't as much, because, like, they had a sale, like, for their Labor Day thing, but I was like, but I'm gonna see you guys at DragCon, it's probably be the same price without shipping, you know, so, I'll get to that in a second. So, but yeah, I think next year, hopefully, you know, it'll be a little bit well organized. It won't be like so crowded, even though it's such a small con. Again, just because there's so much going on, there's so much people and so much, all that stuff. You know, like I said, it was tons of fun. I got to, you know, see one of my drag queen friends, Ava Patron. I got to see her. I haven't seen her in like years. The last time I saw her was at like IMAX or something. Like, and I pretty much stopped going to IMAX, well, because I have Monster Palooza, because that's my IMAX. You know, like I get lots of supplies there. But yeah, like I haven't seen her in forever, and it was so funny because like she works at the Rockstar Wig booth and all that stuff, and I'm like, oh, when we walk in, that's like the first booth, and I was like, oh, I don't see her, and Paul was like, oh, like which one of these queens? I was like, no, she's tall, like everyone else was like, you know, my height or shorter. I'm like, no, she's tall, you can't miss her, you know. And it was like finally we went back. I was like, oh yeah, I'm like we'll see if she's there, and then because Paul went in to eat, and I go, and I was, like, I saw her, and I was gonna be like, oh, hey, and before I could raise my hand, she just, like, turned, just like, oh, my God, and I was like, ah, you know, it's like, oh, yeah, bitch, it's you, mama, bitch, you know, that kind of stuff. Oh, my God, it was cool. Um, when I was at the sugar pill booth, like, you know, I'm in line, and then Amy comes out, and I was just like, oh, hey. Like, I was just like, oh, hi. Just, like, to say hi to her. But then she's like, ah. And she comes over and, like, you know, gives me a hug. And I was like, ah. And I was like, she's like, oh, my God, I'm so glad you came. And I was like, oh, my God, you recognize me. And she was like, of course. And then Sheila was like, yeah, I saw you at IMAX this year. And da-da-da-da. And, like, she, like, remembered. And I was like, oh, my God, yes, oh, my God. Amy from Sugar Brown, like, knows me. And we're, like, cool. And then Paul was just like, and I was like, oh, no, she's the owner. He goes, oh. And he was like, I was wondering, who does he, like, who does Joe know, like, you know, like, that she's, like, so excited to see, and I was like, no, she's the owner, and, like, I love them, and I said it a bunch of times, like, I love Sugar Pill, I really do, like, make them, you know, because their stuff is just crazy pigmented, and it's just, like, before that, like, before I knew about them, and before I bought their stuff, and all that crazy shit, when I would do like bright color eye makeup that I couldn't get from like the drugstore stuff I used at the time, and I didn't want to spend like $25 for like a little pan of like one color kind of shit, I would use like the stage theater makeup stuff that I would use for when I do effects to do like bright colors. And then, you know, they came out and it was like, but I bought all lipsticks because that's, yeah, so I bought that they're like Strangelove, the like metallic-y, the metallic red that they sold with like their, you know, limited edition, one time only, whatever, like Valentine's Day thing, the one that had like the cat on it. Like I really wanted that, but you know, I had money and then I wanted to buy it and it was sold out. You know, so I got that. So I'm like, yay, another liquid lipstick from Sugar Pill, which I love. Their shit's good. Put that there. I got from their Pretty Poison Dark Sided Edition. I got Anti-Socialite. This is like the blood red color. And I thought I always had like a blood red color lipstick, but I've had like red, kind of like darker red, and then it's like a dark purpley red, but never like a blood red color, which is weird. I thought I always had that. But anyway, so I got that. Anyway, so then I got Spank, because I swatched, as you can see, I swatched Spank, and I swatched, whatever the fucking color is that is like the dark purple. And in all honesty, there wasn't much difference. There was a difference, but not much. And I asked Paul, because he's like, he loves purple. So I was like, dude, which purple's better? And this one is a little bit brighter, which obviously the other one, because it's for their darker collection, it's more subdued. And like, you know, you want like a purple. So I got Spank, which is cool. And then I got Euphoria, which is like that kind of like teal, aqua, whatever, and that, like, that shit, I don't think it's Sugar Pill, everything's bright, everything is colorful, everything is just, blah. I'm like, I'm happy walking around with a pink bag kind of thing, you know, normally I'm just like, oh, god damn it, pink, but anyway, yeah, I found it pretty funny how like a lot of people are really confused with me walking around with, this shit on my face, because because I made it kind of flesh color, so they were just like, what the fuck, It was a lot of that. It was a lot of look, look. Oh, look, did you see that? Oh my god. Like, it was a lot of that. Or some people be like, whoa, which I'm glad. Like, I'm not expecting to be like, oh my god, you're amazing, you're perfect. Did you stone those tights? Since we're talking about drag, like, RuPaul's Drag Race, I could totally reference that. Did you stone those tights? You're smiling, Valentina. You're smiling. Yeah. I wasn't getting, like, my fucking balls licked and all that stuff, which I don't need. I don't need that kind of, like, compliments. Just calm it down. It was kind of funny because, like, just a double take people would make, or just a, like, what? I did, like, a couple of people were like, yes, girl, they're like, yes, with the prosthetic, come through. Like, oh my god, I love it, actually, the one queen I really wanted to meet, but obviously every queen online, was actually Vander, from the Dragula, oddly enough. Because, she does stuff more on the darker side, and that's what I do, and, all that stuff. Ran into Mo there. I haven't seen Mo in, like, fucking forever. She was actually working there, which is fucking awesome. And, look, the best part was, the fact that she was working there, so she's like, Joe, if you're gonna get in line for Trixie, it is, like, it's, like, yeah, it's gonna be forever. And I was like, okay. Like I said, probably next year. Like I said, oh my god, I want to just take this off because my boobs. Just let them breathe for a second. Yeah. Hopefully, once it's like a little bit more well organized and all that stuff, like I'll definitely, probably go see a queen or two. I want to see Betty. Like, her thing looks so cool. Oh my god, I want to see Kimchi. Like, there were so many people I want to see, but like I said, like the lines were just crazy. There was so many people, and I was like, you know what, I'm just here for the experience. Really, I was. But yeah, I saw a lot of people I knew, met a lot of people I didn't, saw people I kind of met once, and then like was like, hey, I'm that person that you met at the thing with the, yes, yeah, that place, yeah, and then, yeah, you're right, yeah. Anyway, so, it was a lot of that. But as always, like, DragCon is fucking awesome. I'm glad, this exists. So, yeah. I don't know what else to say. I'm really tired. Like I said, I fucking passed out on the train and all that shit. But RuPaul's DragCon, this was fun. Let's do it again, and definitely I got Comic-Con coming up. I should go eat, probably finally sleep, and continue working on shit. And if you made it this far into the video, if you want to donate to my Patreon, because I have hospital bills out the ass, and a mortgage, and student loans, and all this other struggle artist shit. But anyway, God, I'm gonna go before my camera overheats like it does. Alright.